collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Voyager class Star Raider Ferak from the Transformers Legacy United line from Hasbro. Now this is part of a capsule that is exclusive to Walmart stores, but was also available on Hasbro Pulse as well, and mine came in from Hasbro Pulse. So it is a repaint of Cyclonus. You can see we have some nice artwork of the vehicle mode here on the front, and some cool artwork of the robot mode here on the side. Now I will say, I always thought he was more white than gray, and he definitely looks very white on this side, but the toy itself is kind of a gray, and we'll see it more once we get it out of the box. In the long run, I guess it's probably better since we know what's been happening to Hasbro's white plastic with all the yellowing problems that are out there, so maybe light gray is probably better in the long run. But I thought at first it was kind of weird to me that it seemed more gray than white. Over here on this side, we have our standard half of the Legacy United mural. Not really anything going on the bottom. Legacy United logo there on the top. And spinning it around to the back, we get some nice product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Yeah, looks to be very, very similar to Cyclonus. Maybe these guns on the wings, I can't tell if they're remolded on there or if they're you just connect them on. We'll see once we get them out of the box. Looks like the nose cone is a little different as well. I love the Star Raider logo though. I think that's so cool. Can't go wrong with space pirates, am I right? In any case, let's get him out of the box and let's take a closer look. So here is Ferak out of the packaging, and honestly, I think he looks pretty good. I think the light gray was probably the best choice. It'll avoid yellowing, and I think it works well with the rest of the color scheme here. You have the dark gray, which looks really sharp. You have the pops of the orange paint, which look really good. I think the head sculpt looks really nice. I love the orange for the face with those bright yellow eyes. I think that really works. You have a little bit of translucent orange plastic here in the abdomen, which is kind of cool. Doesn't really, it looks like it has light piping, but there's no way to do light piping because, of course, everything's solid. Even with the translucent plastic here for the windows for the vehicle mode, it's not like light can shine through from the back through to the abdomen, but it's still a nice touch. You have the Star Raider logo here on the forearm. That looks pretty sharp. I like that. And just overall, I think it's a pretty good color scheme. I think Ferak looks pretty good. Now, he does come with 3 accessories, so we have the same gun that came with Cyclonus. I'll be honest, I kind of wish this was in the dark gray instead of the light gray. I just think it gets lost because there's already so much light gray. Now, granted, it would be going into his hand, which is also the dark gray, so it might get lost there. It kind of pops a little bit more in the robot mode. It totally gets lost in the vehicle mode. I don't know. In any case, maybe even make it out of orange. Then it would really pop in both modes. But so that gun's there. And then you do get these 2 pieces. When I talked earlier in the box art, I wasn't sure if they were molded on there. They do just peg on. So you have this little rectangular slot right there, which is going to just tab on to these spots right here. So you just take this and pop that on there like so. And do the same over here. And then he is ready to go, assuming, I don't know, sometimes I have trouble with these. Sometimes they pop right on and it's no issue. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, there he is. He looks kind of cool. Now, I will say right out of the box, you have to do a little bit of transforming him into robot mode because it is mistransformed. These flaps are down and these are folded onto the back. So you have to put these where they go and then fold these pieces back. And also the legs are kind of like pushed in, kind of like you're transforming it into vehicle mode, so you have to, straighten him out. He looks quite short but that was just to fit him in the box. But yeah, overall, I think the color scheme works. I think he looks pretty good decked out with his accessories. If you're familiar with the Cyclonus mold at all, it's exactly the same, so it's going to have all the same articulation. You have kind of the ability to rock the head back and forth at the base of the neck, and then at the base of the head, you have a ball joint so you can move side to side. Mine's ridiculously tight. You can get a little bit of front to back as well at the base of the head, but most of that is coming from the neck joint there. But you can turn it side to side, no problem. Arm can move all the way around, hinge out to the side. And I will say, a lot of the joints on this feel really tight. And I'm wondering if it's something they did to combat mold fatigue. Because on the toy accurate color scheme Cyclonus that I have, his joints are a floppy mess. I mean, he has the loosest arms ever. His legs are a little floppy, and that's not the case here. So they must have done something to fix that problem, which I do appreciate because the arms here can hold a pose. It's nice, no problem. good tolerances there. You have a bicep swivel, you have 90 degrees at the elbow, and you can see that they painted the elbow joints, which I think is interesting. We'll see how that wears over time, but they did make the effort, and that little pop of orange is welcome. I think that's kind of nice. You do also have wrist movement, although I will say the wrist on this one is very tight. The other arm's not as bad, but that one's really tight. You have waist swivel here, kick pretty far forward, kick pretty far back, kick out to the side, so nice range of motion there for the hip. Thigh swivel. You have really weird joints, and if you guys know how Cyclonus works, it's because of the transformation, but his knees, if you want to keep it so that it doesn't look like there's a giant gaping hole in his leg, that's about as far back as you can go. If you don't care about that, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff, but then you're going to see the giant empty cavity that is his leg. So we'll try to get this back into position there. Then you have ankle tilt, a little bit of front to back as well, and you can see that these are done in gray, but then the feet are painted orange, and it looks pretty good. So nice articulation, good accessories, paint scheme's pretty great, and I do appreciate that there are no like floppy joints. If anything, things are too tight in certain areas, but it keeps them held together pretty nicely, so I'm glad they fixed whatever the problem was. I don't know what happened with that Toy Accurate Color Cyclonus, but that was a mess. But yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him. So I've gone ahead and removed the accessories so we can do the transformation into vehicle mode. If you've transformed Cyclonus, it's exactly the same. No surprises, but we'll run through it pretty quickly. You're going to start by opening up the arms here. This front part of the forearm rocks up, and then you're going to rotate this around and close this up. And I don't know why, but this always just makes me think he has like a Mega Man-esque arm buster, and I kind of love that. We're going to do that again over here. Swivel this around and close this up. Make sure that the fist is all the way in so that closes properly. Then you are going to rotate this 90 degrees toward the body. You're going to use the joints on this piece here, right there and right there, to rotate this all the way around. And then this is going to tab into the side of the forearm like so, and then flip out that wing piece. I will say this one I've been having some issues with. It doesn't like to really stay connected. I mean, it pops right back in, so it's not a huge problem, but that one's been a little wonky for me. This one's not as bad. So we will rotate this again, like so. Bring this around. Tab that into the side of the forearm, like that. And then flip out that little piece to fill out the wing. And then you've got your giant wing arms. Now we are going to come to the shoulder section here. And one thing I didn't really point out, but you can see that this whole joint here is done in the dark gray plastic. So they had to paint just this tiniest little bit on the front, the light gray, to match the chest. And I think they did a pretty good job of it. Honestly, I think they matched that pretty well. It doesn't really stick out. It seems to blend in. I mean, when you look at it, really focus on it, you can tell that it's a little off. But for light colored paint on top of a dark plastic piece, I think they did a pretty good job matching the lighter colored plastic. So we're going to unhook this. This is going to come all the way back. I like to rotate this up a little bit just to make sure you have plenty of clearance. Then we are going to pop this whole section back. Pop this section on the front. And you can see where that translucent plastic is inlaid there. Then you're going to rotate this whole section around. Make sure there's clearance. And then we can close these back. Yeah, well, we'll open this first. Open this section here. Flip this out. Close this back up. Then we can close these sections up like so. Now you have the entire kind of front of the fuselage there. You're going to come to the legs. You're going to flip up this back section. This piece will extend out. Fold the leg or foot into the leg. Close this up, and that will close up over top, completely hiding the foot. I've always thought that was really well done. Flip this up. Straighten out the foot. If you have any ankle tilt engaged, make sure you straighten that out. And then bring this down, and that will fold over that. Then you're going to kind of like bring this and sidle this part in. There you go. So you should have the top of the knee pad kind of right at that line where the thigh swivel is. So bring this in again, and then we're going to connect these together, and then kind of rock this down just a little bit so that you have clearance to move this whole section around 180 degrees. And this is very tight as well, but it's nice. It kind of snaps in place when it is the right spot. You can see the tab slot there with the tab there. So bring this up and tab that in. Then we're going to take these and make sure that you extend them all the way down so that it clears and covers over the thigh completely. Then this will just rotate 180, and then there is a tab slot here on the side of the forearm that will tab into the side of the leg. And then repeat the process over here. Swivel and peg. And there you go. There is Ferak in his vehicle mode. Now at this point we will bring these guns back in. And I didn't point this out, but they do have little pegs on the side, so if you wanted to peg them onto the side of the forearms or have them handhold them, you could do that as well. Although I will say, it's a little loose. That connection's a little loose. But we can go ahead, and I like to put these on the bottom so you don't see them as much. Tab that in there. And tab this in there. And there you go. That completes the look. Now, I will say, there's just a lot of gray here. I wish there was a little bit more orange in the vehicle mode. I don't know where, though. I mean, I appreciate, you know, trying to be cohesive with the two shades of gray. And I do really like all of the gunmetal gray. Like, it's a really nice kind of metallic gray here on this section and here. And I really like the use of the translucent orange here for the window. But you have, like, all this that was here in the robot mode and the feet are all now hidden. So you don't really get any of that here. I don't know if these should have been orange. Probably not. Maybe just these fins. I don't know. I just feel like it needs a little bit more color in this mode. I don't know. I keep going back and forth. Because, I mean, it is sleek. You know, the two shades of gray. It is sleek. But I feel like it needs a little bit of orange just because there's so much gray. And then you take the gun and pop that on top, and that's just even more gray. And that's bland. So maybe if they had done the gun in orange, that way you could kind of have the option where if you just like it sleek, two-toned, boom, there you go. You want to pop a color, boom, big orange gun on the front. Would have been a way to introduce color that's removable if you choose. So maybe that would have been the answer. But either way, it's been a great mold since it first debuted in Kingdom. Which was, geez, 3 years. 3 years ago? 3 and some change? Something like that. But it still holds up. Unfortunately, I don't have the Kingdom one here to do a comparison, but I'm pretty confident that this section has been remolded because Cyclonus just has that kind of spike. Otherwise, I think it's pretty similar from what I remember. Obviously, these were not on the other one, so that's been changed. But I think for the most part, it's pretty much Cyclonus in gray with a slightly new wing tips and fuselage tip. But it's not to say it's bad. It's a good mold. It's a good vehicle mode. Looks pretty sharp. I actually like Ferak more than I thought I was going to. I mean, truth be told, he is the Star Raider that I was probably least excited for. So, of course, he's the one that came out first. But, like I said, I really do like him more than I thought I would. At first, I was really surprised that it wasn't the white I was expecting. But in the long run, I really think the light gray is probably a better choice so that we can avoid yellowing. And the two shades of gray, I think, really work, especially with that orange as an accent color and those bright yellow eyes. I just think look really, really cool. It is the Cyclonus mold that you know and love, so really not too many surprises there. Articulation's good, robot mode looks good, transformation's fun, vehicle mode looks good. I mean, really the only thing new are the two guns here on the wings, and of course the little tip of the nose cone is new. I don't really think too much else is new, otherwise it's pretty much you know what to expect. Again, I don't really have too much to complain about. I kind of think I wish the orange, or the gun was orange, just to give a little bit more pop of color, especially in the vehicle mode, because in the vehicle mode, all of the orange from the robot mode is hidden, and so it's very just two-tone gray, which does look kind of sleek, but I find myself wishing there was some kind of pop of color, although I do really love the translucent orange for the windows of the cockpit. I think that looks really sharp. So, again, I think it's a pretty fun little repaint here. You should know what to expect. If you enjoyed Cyclonus and you think the colors look good here, go ahead and pick it up. Like I said, it is going to be a shared exclusive with Hasbro, Pulse, and Walmart, so that's where to check if you're looking for this guy. And then hopefully we can get some more of the Star Raiders so we can build out the crew here. I think he's going to look even better when surrounded with his teammates. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.